Hey there, gamer. Welcome to another D6 damage video. We're talking about magic again. Today it's Cantrips or Orisons. No, I don't know if I'm saying either of those right. Generally, in terms of the characters that I make, I like to have at least a casting class. I really like them. I usually go with sorcerers because I'm multi-class, and sorcerers are like salt, they go with everything. Now, one of the biggest advantages that casting classes get are these things called Cantrips or Orisons. Cantrips if you're an arcane casting class, Orisons if you're a divine casting class. That seems to be how it works. Anyway, these are 0 level spells. Basically, what that means is you can cast them over and over again and it costs you nothing. It doesn't matter whether you're casting them once a day, 5 times a day, 10 times a day, go nuts. Knowing how to use these things and using them well is what separates the archmages from the Hogwarts dropouts. So I want to take a second and talk about some of the more useful ones. And one really lame one. First, let's talk about resistance. This is just a good all-purpose buff spell. It adds a +1 to all your saves. And I don't care what your class is. I don't care if you're a barbarian, fighter, cleric, whatever. You are not too good to have an extra +1 to all your saves. Especially if it's free. The only thing that's really going to hold back your casting of this thing is the time. The spell only lasts for 1 minute. That's 60 seconds or 10 rounds in combat. So if you're the bard and you have nothing to do because you've started your bardic performance and you're like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now, run up to people and start casting resistance on them. Because odds are at some point during the combat they are going to need to save from something. Alright, now let's talk about a personal favorite cantrip of mine, Detect Magic. This one is absolutely fantastic. In a 60-foot cone, you can see the presence or lack thereof of magical auras. And the longer you spend concentrating on the auras that you find, you can get a little more information about them. If you have this thing, you have no excuse for ever missing magical items. Basically, when you cast it, you can see if there's a magic aura, first off. So you can see lingering spells. I'm pretty sure you can use this to detect the presence or lack thereof of magical traps. And you can see if anything with a really powerful aura has passed through fairly recently. Based on the strength of the enchantment, that'll tell you how long that an aura's been in a given area. Really overwhelmingly powerful auras can hang around for days. Strong ones will be around for like 1d6 hours or something. And weak ones, well, those disappear really fast. Now let's say you found an aura. If you concentrate on it, and you make a check, I'm pretty sure it's 15 plus the spell level, you can find out what school of magic is involved. Like you're walking around an old temple, see a magical aura, concentrate on it, it's necromancy. Well, I think that gives you an idea of what's coming now, doesn't it? Alright, here's another good all-purpose buff that clerics and druids get. Guidance. That gives you +1 on attacks, saves, and skill checks. Basically, whatever next check you make with a d20. So if you're the cleric and you have this one prepared and someone is about to do something skill-related, just cast it on them. Again, I don't care who you are or what you have, you are not too good for a +1. Prestidigitation. Well, that's a fun one to say now, isn't it? Your options with this one are only really limited by your imagination. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Now, granted, it's not useful combat stuff, but it is great RP stuff. I could make a whole video on the stuff you can do with Prestidigitation, but just some general guidelines are, you can make cheap, poorly crafted objects, flowers, cheap toys, models, that kind of thing. Or maybe something out there like making a rain of cherry blossom petals rain down on the party as you're walking through a town. You know, 'cause you can. You can change the temperature and flavor of things, so that gives you things like flavored tobacco. You can always have iced tea whenever you go to the tavern. You could start drinking contests with people and make what you're drinking look and taste like beer, but still not be alcoholic. And this is a fun one. You can just soil things. Don't like somebody? Soil their pants. Prestidigitation. Then there's light. Just great all-purpose spell for whenever you're walking around in a dark area. You can cast it on almost anything. Rock, cast light on it, works like a torch. Soap, cast light on it, works like a torch. Other member of the party, I think you can cast light on them too. Swords, arrows. You want to light up an area that you can't see, cast light on an arrow and just shoot it in there. Again, a whole lot of uses, but you need to apply just a little bit of imagination. Alright, now let's talk about how my favorite school of magic, enchantment, kinda got shafted with their cantrip. Daze. It's got that lame 4 hit dice rule. So basically, once you pass a certain point in the game, it's not useful anymore. And that's just annoying. Now, not all of these cantrips or orisons are available for all the classes. And that's where a little trait called Two World Magic comes in. Basically, what this trait does means that you can take one 0-level spell from another casting class's list. So let's say you're a sorcerer and you want guidance. 2-world magic, and it's yours. Thanks for watching D6 Damage. Come back next time for more character builds and gaming advice.